Let's get started. Once again, my name is Shana Horton, TABC Rules Attorney, and today is April 18th, 2022, and I now open this public hearing on rules in chapters 34, 35, 36, 37, 41, and 50. We will begin with an open forum period for you to ask questions and for us to have a conversation regarding any of the rules. We'll take them all at once, anything from item 1 through 4. And that will be the informal comment period. Nothing that you say during that period will become part of the permanent record. It's just a chance to ask any questions that still remain that you don't want on the permanent record, formal record. Then I will open the formal part of the meeting, and we'll go one by one on each item. And that's your opportunity, if you'd like, to unmute yourself, say your name, who you're representing, and make formal public comments regarding the rule that we're on. Please keep in mind that I cannot respond to those comments during the formal section. Instead, what will happen is those comments will be written down and responded to in writing, which will be published in the Texas Register as part of the preamble to the adoption if the commission does choose to adopt the rule package. So without further ado, as I said, this first part is an informal comment period. So if anyone has comments or questions about anything at all that is on our agenda today, please go ahead and unmute yourself, say your name, and let's chat.
Good morning, Shane. It's Amy Harrison. How are you?
Morning, I'm well.
I have a general question about the background and summaries that are accompanied of every rule when taking impact statements, specifically to small business and micro business, and then as related to the Real Property Rights Preservation Act. In the proposal for rules is related to fees. When I went back through open records and asked for copies of background work and statistics and tests that the commission evaluated in making these impact assessments, I was not allowed any of those. They were for deliberate processing and et cetera, et cetera. So my question is how does the public know what's gone into those assessments and flexibility analysis if they're not able to get those to find out what kind of background work the commission did?
Yes, I understand. I remember when we went through this with the open records folks, and I believe that they addressed it. I don't, and I'm sure that they did so according to law, but I don't have them here with me today. And respectfully, that's not on our agenda today. So what I'd like to do is take your question offline and see if there's something that I can do to help. But if the open records folks have already done it, there's probably not much more I can do. But I understand your comment, and it has been registered here.
I very much appreciate that. I will be making public comment, particularly as related to the taking a private real property and as it relates, because some of these sanctions actually disallow permits to be issued for several years, depending on the violation. And I think that real property owners do have impact involved. So I'll just be making that public comment, as well as related to the fact that if this is a requirement, I think there should be some way that the public can understand what the commission's doing in the background to make these decisions. So I will be making that public comment. Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to make an informal comment or ask a question about any of the rules on our agenda today? Okay, I'm not seeing any hands. So with that, I will go ahead and close the informal section of our public hearing and open the formal comment period. Once again, whatever you say during this comment period, I cannot respond to, but it will be written down and you will get a response in writing that will be published in the Texas Register. If you do have a comment, I'd ask again that you please unmute yourself, say your name and who you represent, and then make your comment. We will begin with item 1, public safety violations, sanctions, and penalties. In this chapter, we have reorganized the sanctions chart for public safety violations to more closely mirror the sanctions chart for regulatory violations, and done our usual just reorganization to reduce some unnecessary section changes and things like that. At this time, if anyone has a public comment, formal comment they would like to give regarding any of the rules under item 1, new and amended chapter 34, new chapter 35, and then the related repeals. Now is the time to make that comment.
Amy Harrison with Amy Harrison Consulting. My comment is related to the impact assessments for rural communities, small businesses, and micro business assessment, and the impact assessment and how it's related with government growth impact statement, and what steps the commission and analysis are performing in order to derive at those assessments, and the availability of the public to review those assessments. Thank you very much.
Additional comments on item 1? Everybody just comes here to see if anyone else is going to comment. Okay. I'm not seeing any hands. If anyone is having trouble unmuting or anything like that, you can also use the chat function to alert us to your comment, and I can read it into the record. Okay. We'll move on now to item 2, record keeping and reports. New rules 4117 through 4127 and related repeals. This is really just a shifting down of the rules in order to make room for one that we wanted to juxtapose with a related rule. Are there any formal comments about item 2, new rules 4117 through 27 and repeal of 4117 through 26?
This is Amy Harrison with Amy Harrison Consulting. My comments are related to the fiscal note, rule comments, communities impact assessment, small business and micro business assessment, flexibility analysis, and taking the impact assessment, government growth impact statement, and having that accessibility for the public to see those analyses and related reports. Thank you.
Any other comments on item 2, chapter 41, record keeping and reports? Okay, seeing none, we will move down to item 3, alcohol delivery compliance. Again, this is just simply a reorganization. There were no substantive changes to the rule. We have just moved it to a more a chapter that makes more sense. Are there any comments, formal public comments about item 3, new rule 50.33, alcohol delivery compliance? Anyone for item 3? Okay. I'm not seeing any hands raised, so we'll go ahead and move on to item 4. Item 4 is a notice of intent to review Chapter 37 legal. We opened that chapter up for comments, but the rules that will remain in it, should the repeals be adopted, we do not intend to make any changes to those during this cycle. Are there any formal comments on the rules that will remain in Chapter 37 legal? Okay, I'm not seeing any hands again. If you would like to make a formal public comment by email in writing, you are welcome to do that. Send it to me, rules@tabc.texas.gov, and we will add those to the formal record. If you have previously made written comments and you would like for them to be considered formal comments, please also let me know that, because up until now, I would not have known if it was just a conversation back and forth or intended to be formal. So if you want me to convert those into formal comments, please do let me know, and I will consider them as such. If there are no further comments or questions about items 1 through 4 on today's agenda, then I will close this meeting. It's 10:15 a.m. on April 18th, 2022, and thank you all for joining us.